Where is he?
First question.
I don't see you.
On the right-hand side.
I see you. Yeah, let's go.
Good to see you. First of all, what is your reaction to the news that Eric Dier has been banned for 4 games by the FA?
No reaction. I prefer no reaction.
Do you think the punishment is too harsh?
I'm not going to answer. If I answer, I'm going to be in trouble, and I don't want to be. So I have no comments about that.
How difficult will it be for you to cope without him for 4 of your remaining 5 games?
I cope with Alderweireld, with Davison Sanchez, and Jan Vertonghen.
Have you had a chance to speak to Eric today since the news came through about the ban?
No.
Just looking ahead to the game against Bournemouth tomorrow, the timing of it, do you think it's a bit strange with the North London derby coming up as well, that you will have 2 days less to prepare than Arsenal do, because they're getting 2 extra rest and preparation days before the North London derby?
I know that, but there is nothing I can do, and I prefer in this moment to focus on Bournemouth and to forget what is coming after that. And Bournemouth is the kind of team that always give me reason when I don't look to the table. I look to the potential of the team. It's not important for me that they are in a relegation position. It's not important for me that they are fighting for survival. I look not to the table. I look to the potential of the team, to the quality of Eddie Howe, to the organization that his team is showing year after year. And I can also focus on many good results that they had against the better teams. So it's a good, strong enough opposition. Is a difficult enough match for me in this moment to be thinking about what next.
And just the final question for me in this section, just on Eric Dier, not about the Football Association, but just as what he did as a human being. Do you understand that somebody in that situation, if you see a member of your family being threatened or being abused, it is a human reaction to want to defend them and protect your family?
I think immediately after the situation that was, I don't know, 2 years ago or 6 months ago, or I forgot already. I think enough people from football, players, managers, pundits, former players, I think enough people spoke and wrote about it.
Cheers, Carve. We're going to move to George at BBC 5 Live next. If you're there, George.
Jose, hello. Are you surprised that Eric has a 4-game ban and Guendouzi got 0 after what happened at Brighton?
I spoke about both situations a few weeks ago. I spoke about Guendouzi, and probably I shouldn't, because he is not my player, and probably I have no right to comment about others. In relation to Eric, I spoke enough 2 years ago when the situation happened, and also a couple of weeks ago one of you asked me about the situation.
In terms of Harry Kane, there's been a lot of hamstring injuries lately. Gary Cahill last night, Sean Longstaff. Are you worried about that as a concern for him, that could potentially happen again if you play him in all these remaining matches?
I think hamstring is always a situation. Doesn't matter which league. Without CV19, without or with quarantine, hamstring is also a muscle that sometimes doesn't resist to what football demands. So I cannot look to unlucky situations with some of the other guys and feel any fear about it. We have to play. We have to play, and of course, with accumulation of matches and less time to rest, of course, the risk is always there. But the risk is part of our lives. Is part of the specificity of our job. So we cannot think about it. Of course, we have ways to try to control the unpredictability of the situations. And if analyzing individual situations, we realize that a player is showing signs of fatigue, is showing signs of muscular debilitation. Of course, we have to make decisions, but in many cases, situations, they just happen. I can almost bet that, for example, what happened yesterday to Eric Cahill, I can almost bet that before the game he was feeling absolutely fine. I can almost guarantee that the work the clubs do, and certainly Palace also does, in monitoring training and loading and matches, I can almost guarantee that he was absolutely fine, and it just happened.
And Michael Oliver, after Sheffield United, he's VAR tomorrow and referee in the North London derby. Are you surprised at the number of games he's been involved in lately, at Tottenham matches?
I cannot speak about referees. I don't think even the rules allow me to do that before a match. After matches, with respect and without implying any kind of bias, I think I am free to express my views. But before matches, I think I'm not allowed, and even if I was, is something I don't want to do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to James at TalkSport.
Hi, Jose.
Hey.
Jose, I know you don't want to speak about Eric Dier's situation and whether you think the ban is fair or not, but he's played every minute so far since the restart for you. So how much of a blow is this in terms of your plans to build a solid back line like we saw against Everton in terms of the rest of this season and beyond that?
You know, since quite a long time, we were speaking about his best position. We were speaking about the position he was feeling more comfortable. I always defend that the player, to help his team, has to be ready, even to wear gloves and go to goal if the team needs that. But of course, the most important thing, if possible, is when player and manager, they agree that a certain position is the best to develop. I think he had a strange last season. I think he had also a very strange current season, and big indefinition around Eric. We made the decision together. I told him immediately since my arrival that, okay, let's go together in a certain direction, but I think you are not ready. So let's try to go back to a certain to a certain level, being a midfielder, but always with an eye of transforming you as a centre back, which is where he feels really happier and more comfortable. During the periods where we were just working on the Zoom, since the players come back to the training ground, even on the period of the individual work, we were working with him totally focused on the direction of being a centre back. So we develop a certain number of skills. He become much more adapted to the needs of that position. Then we decided Manchester United first match to go with him in that position, using also this period, of course, to fight for points and to fight for objectives in relation to the table, but also looking forward, looking to next season. And I think he played very, very good matches against Sheffield. We all made a few mistakes, but in the other matches, defensively, the team was very consistent, and he was very, very consistent playing against some of the best strikers. Tottenham has two of them, United two. Antonio is a very difficult guy to play against, and Eric was very, very dominant. A part of that because he comes from a midfield area. He's very comfortable with the ball. He's good on the building up. He's going without any kind of problem attacking the space in front of him and being an extra man on the building up in midfield. So I think he's doing very, very well. We look forward to next season. We look forward to next season where since the beginning we have no doubts that he's there as a centre back, that is going to be I think an important player for us.
And just finally from me, Jose, you had a conversation with the playing squad following the Sheffield United game where you asked for the players to be more open with one another, to demand more from one another. Just how significant a moment do you think that was in the start of this side moving forward, both this season and beyond that as well?
I always say that are things in winning teams, and I told the players that I can speak about winning teams because I belong to some of them, that there are things that are not negotiable. And what is not negotiable is a certain attitude, is a certain soul, is a certain DNA, is a certain character. Then you can be in a better day or no. You can face an opponent that makes it easier or more difficult for you. The unpredictability of the game doesn't control football results. Sometimes you deserve to win and you don't, and vice versa. But there are things that are not negotiable. And for me, one of the things is exactly that kind of character, being demanding with yourself, being demanding with each other, your self-motivation, but at the same time be an external source of motivation for the guy that plays in the same team as you. And that leads many, many times to disagreement, to discussion. And I just think that is really, really a very important thing. The situation of the manager is the leader and the players are just leaded, let's say that. I think you don't build the character that the players they need, and you need players with character. So I was very happy with the team attitude during the game. I would prefer that little discussion to happen inside the dressing room at halftime and not outside, because people can interpret in a different way. But I think was probably a new thing in the team, and was probably something that the players do more times internally, being demanding with each other and growing up together.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got Jonathan Beale, PA.
Hi there, Jose.
Hey.
You've been speaking just there about hamstring injuries. How is Dele Alli? How bad is his hamstring injury?
Yes, small, but not ready for tomorrow. And you know that he had a little sad history about hamstring last season, I think. So he's to be careful. It's not to risk when you know that he has a little problem there. So tomorrow out.
Are there any more injury concerns for tomorrow?
No. Nothing from the last game.
And can I just ask you about Kyle Walker-Peters? He's getting a lot of praise for his performances in Southampton. Have you been keeping an eye on him and keeping in touch with him? And does he still have a future at Spurs?
Yeah, of course I follow. We don't have as many players on loan. That is a very difficult job to follow what we have, and especially being Premier League, of course we follow. We see a future here, yes, we see, but we also see a future outside where he can be happy. The reason why he went to Southampton was not because we pushed him to go. As you can see in our squad in this moment, having Tanganga injured, we have only Serge Aurier as a right back, so we didn't push him. But he's a kid that everybody loves in here. He's a kid that Daniel Levy himself has a special feeling and care for the player, because he's a kid that came here when he was really a young kid, and he's here for years and years and years. So we let him go because we think that he has the right to be happy. I think he's happy now. He's of course playing. He's of course playing well, and I'm not in control of, let's say, the transfer decisions, but I think the general feeling here is, of course, there is a place for him here, but of course, if his desire is to be happy by playing every time and leaving the club in the search of this happiness, I don't think we would stop him to do it. Of course, he's a player with a good value in the market, but I don't think we would stop him to go.
Thank you.
Okay, we're short on time, so we're going to go Ali Gold, Charlie, and then James Ollie. If keep it to one question and follow up, please. Start with Ali.
Hi there, Jose.
Yeah, listen.
Sorry to ask a really quick one on Eric Dier, but I just wanted to know, are the club going to appeal the decision?
I don't think so, honestly, because if you appeal, you have other risks, and at least let's start next season without a suspension, and we all know how it works at these FA decisions. You have access, if you want, to the record of appeals, successful appeals and unsuccessful appeals. I don't think so. I don't think we are going to appeal.
And can I just ask you, we spoke about the younger players you've been giving chances to on the bench, Dennis Sirkin as well and Harvey White. With obviously Champions League slipping away now by the looks of it, I mean, is there a temptation on your part to give the likes of Oliver Skipp, Jedson Fernandez more minutes with next season in mind, or is it still too difficult to do that?
We are fighting for European positions. If you ask me, would I prefer not to be in European football or play Europa League, I prefer to play Europa League. So we have to fight for that. Are the players have a chance to play? Of course, they have a chance to play, but not because points are not important for us. They can play because they are good players and because we trust the players. So at any time they can play, even in relation to Sirkin, to Harvey White. I told already the club that I would like them to be with me next season in the first team squad. Is the easiest way for them to develop, is to train every day at the most demanding level. So we trust the kids. We are going to develop the kids.
Thanks, Jose.
Charlie next.
Hi, Jose.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, I was just wondering, you talked there about the players being more direct with one another. Is that something that's changed, do you think, amongst players in your kind of 15 or so years in management?
I think overall, if I compare, for example, my times when I was an assistant coach many years ago, Barcelona, Porto, 25 years ago or so, the players, they used to be together all the time. No Xbox, no PlayStation, no social media, not even, I think, it was quite the beginning of telephone, mobile phones, but the players used to spend all the time together. Even when you go to hotels or something, the players used to be together all the time, and it was much more easier for them to develop a certain intimacy, confidence, trust, and to develop a certain dynamics in the group. In this moment, you can imagine that it's not football players. I think it's about everybody. People is a different way to interact. So, for example, you are in a hotel. Every player has his own bedroom. The players, they go there and they are not alone. They are on Zoom with friends, with families. They are on FaceTime. They are on social media. They are together playing some Xbox or PlayStation, but to play together, they don't need to share the same room or the same space. I think it's just a society thing that the interaction is different, and probably at personality level, you don't get this kind of so open communication that you had before. So I think we need to stimulate that all the time to make them feel confident and not to be closed in their own shell. Is a team effort, is a team group, is a team sport. You don't play alone. A team has to be more than the sum of the individuals. A team has to be more than the sum of the individuals. So they need to interact. They need to communicate. They need to share ideas. They need to discuss what happened in the game. They need to discuss what can happen in the next. They need to motivate each other. And I stimulate this. I believe that there are managers that they don't want the players to do that. I believe that there are managers that would be really upset with any discussion that can happen in the dressing room. I am upset with silence. I hate the silence in the dressing room. I hate a silence in a meeting. I hate, how do you call it, a monologue?
Monologue, yeah.
Monologue. I hate that. I don't like monologues. I don't like to be in front of the players speaking for 20 minutes without any kind of interaction. So this is something that I stimulate. Is my way of being, is my way of leading. And my team in the other day showed me that they can improve at that level.
We'll finish this section with James Ollie. Yes, Ben.
Jose, hello. I just Just wanted to ask you, it's just a general question about the stadium, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's a fantastic arena, one of the best in the world, but it is an expensive one. I just wondered how much managing the debt on the stadium was discussed with Daniel when you decided to take the job, and how much you think that debt will impact your plans to build a successful squad while you're there.
No discussion at all. The only thing that was important for me at that time is that my club has the best stadium in the world, the best training ground in the world. So for me, there is nothing else than that. In the other day, the first thing that Ancelotti told me, and as you can imagine, Ancelotti managed some of the best clubs in the world, managed in the Bernabeu, in the Allianz Arena, in San Siro. The first thing Carlo told me was, wow, this stadium is absolutely incredible. So when is my stadium, I don't think about anything else in relation to the stadium than the beauty of the stadium, the comforts, and the motivation that is to play for a club that owns that stadium. You know. Then after that, I think everything is internal and not to share in any discussion.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to have to end the broadcast section there.